911, what is the address of the emergency?
There's some pools of blood. I'm guessing it's just an animal, but in the water right by the river, there's a shoe.
Blood everywhere, all over the place.
Did you tell anybody she went for a swim?
Who?
That girl.
No. And if somebody said I said that, they're liars, man.
So wham, outside of her face, and she got balled into the wall. You stupid! Call them and tell them to get the f over here. You get your ass over here and bring me some change of clothes.
I have a concern. That's why we want to talk to you. I don't know if you did or
you
one
guys
other
think
person
I did something, I'm telling you right now, I didn't.
In the early morning hours of March 11, 2012, a chilling discovery is made near the Jordan River. As the investigation gets underway, police uncover a disturbing pattern of lies and deception. However, just as investigators approach a critical breakthrough in solving the case, their most promising lead quite literally disappears into thin air. As it turns out, a vanishing suspect isn't the only shocking reveal in this twisted crime, but also the great lengths some would go to in order to exact revenge, including framing someone for murder.
Are you about 12678 South?
Yeah, I would say so. I'm just below the golf course where there's a bridge for the pathway that you can cross to go up to the golf course. There's like two big piles of blood, and there's splatter blood all over the bridge, and then right along the edge of the water, there's like a red kid's shoe in there. It could have just floated in, but I figured I'd better call you guys.
As the police arrive at the scene and meticulously examine the pools of blood on the rocks, they immediately focus on conducting tests to determine whether it's human blood or an animal's. Dread consumes the investigators as their worst fears materialize before their eyes. The reports confirm the chilling presence of human blood. Despite their relentless pursuit, they're not able to locate anyone on the trail, leaving them puzzled by the unknown. Finally, after hours of an extensive search, they stumble upon a haunting sight on the other side of the river. A lifeless body of a young girl drifting silently, a shocking testament to the unfolding tragedy.
Yeah, it's confirmed. Female, red shirt, blue jeans, caught up in the river, it's obvious.
The young girl's body had remained submerged in the water for hours. Her face is swollen, bearing signs of severe trauma with multiple fractures. A prominent injury on her forehead had left her face disfigured and unrecognizable. An autopsy would later confirm that the cause of death was multiple blunt force injuries to the child's head. Notably, she wore a shoe that matched the one that was discovered by the jogger who'd placed the 911 call. In efforts to identify the victim, the police arranged for a press conference and share crucial information about the discovery in the hopes that someone would step forward with valuable information to aid their investigation. A mile away, Veronica Kaspersak switches on the television to watch the news. As she listens to the announcement, her blood runs cold with a chilling realization. Could this be her daughter, Annie? 15-year-old Annie lives with her mother, Veronica Kaspersak, and stepfather, James Bratcher. On Saturday night, Veronica and James return home from their dinner date, and Annie excitedly greets them at the front door. Everything seems ordinary as Veronica heads to her room for a shower, while James hangs out in the kitchen. At 7:45, he notices Annie leaving the kitchen and heading towards her room. However, at 8:40, while on a phone call with her sister, Veronica realizes that she hasn't seen or spoken with Annie since they arrived home. She decides to check Annie's bedroom, only to find it empty. Alarmed, she calls out to her husband, who rushes upstairs with a note that he found in the other room. The note declared Annie's shocking revelation that she has left for California, confessing that she'd lied to her friends about being pregnant, which she had indicated with a P in the letter, and she said that she could no longer bear the weight of the lie. With their hearts racing, Veronica and James immediately called the authorities to report Annie as a runaway. Soon after, Veronica reaches out to Christopher Bagshaw, Annie's boyfriend, desperately seeking any information. While Christopher maintains that he was unaware of Annie's plans, he did know more than he was letting on. After a restless night with little sleep as Veronica switched on the news the next morning and witnessed the unfolding announcement, it dawned on her that Annie might not have made it to California after all. The uncertainty gripped her tightly, sending shivers down her spine. Veronica contacts the helpline and informs the police about her runaway daughter. She provides them with every piece of information as they carefully document each detail. Just when it seems like the conversation is about to end, the police ask a crucial question. Did Annie wear braces? The weight of this question hangs in the air, and Veronica sobs on the other end of the line as she whimpers, yes. When DNA match results arrive, the police are able to fully confirm the heartbreaking truth. The victim found on the trail is indeed 15-year-old Annie Kasperzak. With the police officially confirming Annie's untimely death, her decision to run away becomes a pivotal element for their ongoing investigation, as it could shed light on the circumstances surrounding her tragic fate. Recognizing the significance of understanding Annie's motivations, they pay a visit to her grieving family and uncover her harrowing past. As it turns out, Annie's early life was marred by the harsh reality of growing up in a reportedly unhealthy household. As a result, she endured a fragmented upbringing, moving between foster homes and child services centers. However, Veronica Kasperzak, an aspiring employee at Child Services, became Annie's dedicated case manager. Over time, a deep connection formed between them, leading Veronica and her then-husband Dennis Kasperzak to adopt Annie as their own. Despite the challenges that arose from Veronica and Dennis's subsequent divorce, Annie found solace in the love and care of her parents and their new partners. After noting the teenager's family history and background, the investigators meticulously gather various items connected to Annie, such as the note she left for her parents, computers and mobile phones, and a tote brimming with papers, including her journals. While examining Annie's journals, the investigators uncovered something peculiar: her profound obsession with her boyfriend, Christopher Bagshaw. Curious to know more about Chris and Annie's relationship, investigators decide to chat with Annie's classmates. Upon being questioned about her boyfriend, they consistently mention Christopher Bagshaw's name and disclose a circulating rumor about Annie being pregnant with his child, the same pregnancy that Annie mentioned in her note. Annie's parents informed the authorities that they were aware of Annie's relationship with Chris and had taken measures by encouraging her to use a birth control pill. Moreover, the autopsy report also confirmed that Annie was not pregnant. But why was Annie spreading such rumors at school? Veronica Kasperzak shares with the investigators that she believed Annie's false story about her pregnancy reflected her desire to build a permanent family she could call her own, a thought that was reflected in some of her journal entries. It seems that Chris Bagshaw may be able to share more information, and since he was so close to her, they initiate their line of questioning with him, hoping that he can shed some light on what may have really led Annie to run away. After acquiring a search warrant, law enforcement officers visit his home. Since he's a minor, Chris's father, Darwin Leroy Bagshaw, attends the interrogation with him. In the state of Utah, if a child is subject to a custodial interrogation for an offense, the child may not be interrogated unless they've been advised of their constitutional rights and their right to have a parent, guardian, or friendly adult present during the interrogation. The child has waived their constitutional rights. The child's parent, guardian, or friendly adult was present during the child's waiver and has given permission for the child to be interrogated. Exceptions under the Safe Harbor Clause include a minor that has misrepresented themselves as being an adult aged 18 or older, an emancipated minor, or if the police have made reasonable efforts to contact an adult or guardian and are unable to reach them within an hour of the first attempt. If the child is in the custody of the Division of Child and Family Services and a guardian ad litem has been appointed for the child's guardian ad litem has given consent to an interview of the child. In this never-before-seen interrogation, Chris openly discusses his relationship with Annie and readily shares his whereabouts on the night she ran away. The following footage has been analyzed by a qualified team, including a licensed professional counselor and a licensed attorney.
Tell me the last time that you saw Annie.
Wednesday or Thursday of last week.
Do you remember what time?
I don't. I know that it was after school. And she had to go home around 6.
Okay. When's the last time you spoke with her?
The night of Saturday.
Do you remember what time that was?
Around 8.
How many times did you talk to her that night?
I talked to her twice, but she called me 4 times.
How long do you think your conversations were with her?
5 or 6 minutes.
5 or 6 minutes each, or?
Well, yeah, each.
What did you guys talk about?
She asked me to run away with her, and I tried to convince her not to, and I told her that was a stupid idea, and to think about her family.
Tell me about what kind of rumors were out there about you and Annie.
The rumors said that I got her pregnant, but I didn't.
When did you find out? Or when did she start telling you that?
That what?
That she was pregnant with your baby?
She didn't start telling me, she started telling everybody else. Around a month after, she had with LJ.
Annie had written about LJ in some of her journal entries. Though this is the first time LJ is mentioned in the questioning, he will play a crucial role in the investigation.
When did she tell you that she was pregnant?
Around a month after.
About a month after? When do you think that was? About what month?
Well, she had with LJ in November.
Tell us more about how you know about her. LJ in November.
She told me that she didn't want her family to find out that she had LJ sneak into her house, and that's because they knew LJ was 17. So she asked me if I can take blank for it, and I told her that I would agree to let her know how it is me.
Chris appears really tense here, barely moving and gripping onto the arms of his chair. He's leaning back and away from the detective. While it could be that he's just distraught about the death of his girlfriend, he appears disengaged and has a quite flat affect. While everyone responds to death differently, and this could be shock, the detective is likely concerned about him appearing detached.
How many times did you have with Annie?
Once.
When was that?
The night that we hung out at Spencer's house.
And about what month or day?
It was Wednesday or Thursday of last week.
Wednesday or Thursday of last week?
Yes.
After answering all the questions, Christopher volunteers more information to the police about an incident at Spencer's home.
Also, like when Spencer started dozing off, she had got a bloody nose, and it dripped on my shoe, and then she ran into the bathroom, and then we went into her room.
It's certainly odd that Chris is so concerned about explaining a few drops of blood on his shoe, though he might be aware of how this could look and therefore wants to make sure the police know there is an innocent explanation for it. This story is reminiscent of a guilty person making a 911 call, not so they can get help, but so they can get their alibis set up.
Okay, I want to understand that. Where were you at with your bloody nose?
Okay.
You want to draw it now? There.
This is the TV. This is the door. This is his bed. The alarm clock. There's all the lamps up here. This is the closet. And Spencer was here. He was kind of dozing off, leaning this way. I was right here. And Annie was right here. And we were sitting like this.
You and Annie were?
Yeah.
Okay, so on the side of his bed. Okay. You mentioned that her nose started bleeding. How'd that happen?
I don't know. We were sitting right here, and we looked over, and it was like red. And I said, "Do you have a little something right here?" She went like that, and leaned down, and it dripped on my nose. And she said, "Oh crap," and ran to the bathroom.
So which side what foot would it have fallen on?
This one.
It would have fallen on your left foot?
Yes.
Okay, and would have just been one drop?
Yeah.
And then what bathroom did she go to?
When you go out the door, there's a wall, and then there's a bathroom right across from it, and there's a bedroom right here, and then there's the stairs.
And she got her bloody nose taken care of?
Yeah.
Did you notice that she bleed it going across the floor or anything?
I'm not sure. She was holding her nose like this.
So it was enough blood that she had to hold it in?
No, she just grabbed it so that it wouldn't trip anymore.
After taking notes on the incident, they return to the topic of Chris's last conversation with Annie in order to get additional details.
What else did you guys talk about besides running away on Saturday?
I just tried to convince her to think about it twice and think it over, and if there's something wrong with her family, then to think about everything good in her family. And I tried to convince her that it wasn't a good idea and that she shouldn't do it. Think about her friends as well.
Okay. And what did you do after 8 o'clock? Or where were you at when you were talking to her?
My dad had left to go to the bar, and I went to my grandma's at first.
Oh, what time did you think you...
Saturday night. I imagine I left probably about 6 or 7.
What bar did you go to?
Oh, the Lazy Dog Saloon.
And so did you leave right when your dad left?
No, I stayed home and I played the video game for a little while.
For how long do you think?
An hour and a half.
Was anybody else there with you?
No, it was just me.
Anybody call you while you were there? Do you remember?
No. And then afterwards, I went to my grandma's house, which is only 3 doors down.
I called you that night.
Oh, you did?
Because I told you I was going to have company.
Yeah.
To go stay at my grandma's house.
What time
Did you ask him to stay with her?
Yeah.
What time did you call him, you think?
Oh, man.
It was like 8 or 7.
Yeah.
It was like 7:45 to 8.
I'm not real positive on the exact time that I called him.
And so when he called you, did you go right over to your grandma's?
No, I stayed home for a little bit and I played the video game because that was like in the hour and a half.
We're talking about just last Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I left the house at 6 o'clock last Saturday. I left with a buddy named Kevin.
The police consider this line of questioning crucial as they try to determine if they can confirm Chris's location during the possible time of Annie's murder.
And so when he called you, you think 7:45, 8?
Yeah.
And then did you go right to your... And you said you stayed home for another hour probably past that?
Like, for another 15 minutes to get my stuff ready. And I went to my grandma's.
Tell us about what happened to your grandma.
Well, I didn't stay in my grandma's for very long. I went there, put my stuff there, and I asked her if I can go and see if a friend hung out, because I didn't really want to stay there. She's kind of funny, no offense. But I went to my friend's. I knocked on his door. He didn't answer, so I went straight back to my grandma. Got a movie, and me and my grandma watched movies.
Did you ever leave the house again?
No.
So you stayed there the whole night?
Yes.
And I got home at about 11:30, and I went by my mom's house, and he was crashed out on the chair, and I talked to her for a minute, and then I went home. So, and I told him that I was probably going to have company come over, which they ended up not coming over, so I just went ahead and went to bed. And then he was home by 9 the next morning.
Sure. Did you talk to anybody on the phone after you got back to your grandma's?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How far would you say your friend's house is from yours to?
It's around a 25-minute walk there and back.
So like a mile or 2 miles or 15 miles or what?
Yeah, just like a mile or, somewhere around a mile.
Sorry, you were saying about 25 minutes one way and 25 minutes back.
Yeah.
Despite the corroboration of Chris's whereabouts on the night of the incident by his father, Darwin Leroy Bagshaw, and his grandmother, Wilma Fern Bachla, the police focus their attention on 2 crucial details provided by Chris that demand verification. The first concerns Annie's nosebleed, which supposedly occurred at Spencer's house, resulting in her blood inadvertently staining Chris's shoe. The second piece of information relates to Annie's alleged relationship with another boyfriend named LJ. The police take the necessary steps to acquire a search warrant for the home of Spencer Criddle to uncover the truth. As a close friend of Chris and Annie, Spencer can give some insight into both of these questions. He soon becomes a person of interest in the investigation and is subsequently brought in for questioning. The investigators waste no time and immediately inquire about the night Annie left.
On that day, Saturday, you had talked about Annie coming here. Annie calling you, and you weren't here. Tell me about that. What were you doing that day?
I went to the gym with my little brother.
Okay. With your little brother?
My older brother.
And how long were you guys at the
At the gym.
For 2 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a long time.
He's like, are you fine with going there for 2 hours? I was like, Chance, are you serious? He's like, yeah, man. I was like, we're not Marines.
Okay. And then, so then what time did you get back to the house?
Around 8:30.
Okay. And then is that when you checked your messages?
Yeah, I went upstairs and about like 10 minutes, 20 minutes later, and there's like text messages and calling messages and everything.
Mm-hmm.
No text messages from Annie, just like 2 missed calls, I think, from Annie and 1 voice message.
Okay. And then, do you have your cell phone? Is that the way I got the messages?
Yeah.
Do you have it with you here?
Yeah.
Do you mind if we take a look at it?
The thing is, though, unknown number tried calling me. There's the call logs. Unknown number. I just tried finding some way to get that voice message back or anything.
An attorney will almost always advise you not to willingly hand over your phone or other devices unless the police have a warrant.
After the gym on Saturday night, then what did you do?
Came home, my dad was like, you guys hungry? And I was like, yeah, sure. He's like, want me to make you a pot pie? I was like, all right, I guess. After I had pot pie, well, that's actually before, when my dad was making, I checked my messages. After Chance literally drained out my energy at the thing, I like fell asleep for a second on his bed. My dad's like, get up for the dinner. And after that, went up and got on the PS3 and just started watching Netflix and playing games. I kept the phone right there, just waiting for Annie's to be called. I'm just like, come on. Wait, the next day, nothing.
All right.
Cooperation with the police yields significant revelations. He substantiates Chris's statement by confirming that Annie did bleed from her nose when they were at his place, and shares some intriguing information about LJ.
There was some confusion about whether you actually physically talked on the phone or had a chat with LJ. Did you ever?
Have a chat with LJ?
Yeah.
He just messaged me on his email.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. And so it was over email?
Yeah.
Okay.
Somehow he hacked into Annie's.
Okay. So it was Annie's email, and then, but it was from LJ?
Yes.
So how did you know it was LJ?
Because Annie the next day, well, he told me, but Annie
said this is LJ or something?
Yeah. And I was like, LJ, why are you on, Annie? He's like, oh, I hacked into it. I was like, oh, well, that's perfect.
But you never had a physical, like a conversation with them about that?
No.
Okay. That was how long ago?
It was back in I think either late November or early December. It was one of those. I can't remember.
Is it out of the ordinary for you to get unknown calls? So you get them all the time?
Oh, well, sorry. I thought you said, do you usually get unknown calls? No, I don't.
So that's uncommon then?
Yeah, that's uncommon. Unless it's one of my friends that are playing a prank on me, but they haven't done that in a long time, so I don't know who that could have been. Because I can't call back. It'll be like a no number. I'm like, whatever.
Do you know, does your dad ever, check does he have an account on T-Mobile online for phone bills and check like that, phone records?
Yeah, he actually tried searching up my phone record, and he couldn't, I think he found it, the call. I asked him, is there any way we can get the voice message, please? And he's like, no, it's not.
Well, the text email where he talked to LJ, whatever happened to that?
Well, since that was months ago, my phone just built up in the memory, and it goes berserk. I can't start taking pictures or anything. It says memory, so I had to clear it out. I always do that. Get too much calls, messages, it just clears out. Yeah.
Apart from confirming LJ's involvement with Annie, Spencer informs the police that all of their circle of friends had tried to warn her to stay away from LJ, given his threats, as they believed he was a member of some gang. Chris's statement highlighted a similar pattern.
All right, Chris. One of the things that was coming up and everything is that in talking with LJ, when you talked with LJ, did you actually physically talk to him on the phone, or was it through a message, or how did you talk to him?
I talked to him once.
Okay.
Actually on the phone.
Okay. And what did he say in that conversation?
That we were straight, like we were cool, and he wasn't coming anymore for me. But he did say that he was coming for somebody else, and then he hung up.
Okay. And when you talked to him on the phone, did he speak with an accent, or do you notice anything distinctive about his voice?
No. Okay. Just normal.
Okay, just a normal voice. And was there a phone number for that?
No, it was withdrawn or restricted.
It said restricted on it?
The pivotal information shared by both boys thrust the police investigation forward, firmly casting LJ as the prime suspect in Annie's gruesome murder. Unfortunately, neither Spencer, Chris, nor any of Annie's other friends had ever seen LJ, which limits their ability to provide a physical description. However, the investigators have deep connections and immediately mobilize their informant networks and surveillance circuits to search for a 17-year-old individual with potential gang ties and relations with anyone at Annie's school. After a grueling week of relentless pursuits and exhaustive investigations, the investigators find themselves empty-handed. Just as the mounting pressure takes its toll on the team, one of the investigators receives a crucial phone call, providing them with their long-awaited breakthrough in the seemingly impossible search. The caller is Joanna Franklin, an individual frequently involved in alleged credit card thefts. She declares that she had actually witnessed Annie's murder and hopes to exchange the information for eliminating all charges against her illegal activities. The following never-before-seen footage of Joanna Franklin's interview reveals her shocking claims of a crime. She drops a bombshell at the very beginning by revealing that she knows the elusive LJ quite well. Moreover, she introduces a new suspect to the investigation's list.
She came inside with LJ. I went to go, I couldn't hit a van, so we went to go find Marble in my bed. And I came back out and we could hear him having in the bathroom.
Who?
LJ and a girl. And I go, are you serious? And he goes, what? And I go, that's statutory rape. And he goes, you're not doing it? And I'm like, I'm not okay with that. And I started freaking out, and then she came out and she's like, you can't do that. She was upset, and then they came out and they're like, sorry, and she was like, and I was like, you gotta need to go. And that's when I said, hey, how about my turn? She goes, what? And she started laughing, and I grabbed her face and just threw her the wall.
I would say 99% of the people that we've talked to said never do that over. And I'm sure you.
It wasn't over. She laughed at him in front of everybody. It wasn't over. Anyone wants to. She laughed in front of everybody, and she started laughing, and I started laughing. That's what it was. Every time I read in papers, she said no, it's because she laughed at him.
I probably laughed too.
You ask anybody. I always did. You ask anybody if you do over that, and they'll tell you, oh, yeah. A whole bunch of them. And I go, yeah, right there. And he's like, I need it. I go, for what? And he's like, I just need it. And he grabs it, goes up the door, I walk outside, and he goes, wham, outside the side of her face. And she falls into the wall. And I was like, so I went running on the side. And he's like, stay out of it. And so she's like, just stay out of it. And I'm like, you can't be okay with that. And she's like, let's just go in the bedroom. She was shaking, I was shaking. And that was the night was
she hurt?
Yeah.
Was she bleeding?
Mm-hmm.
From where?
From her ears and her nose and her mouth. And then he kicked her when she was on the ground. And he had him tie her up and put her in the back of the car. And they wouldn't come in. What is that girl's name?
How'd you know her?
How did I know her?
How do you know that it's our victim? How do you know that it's this girl?
I saw the picture of her.
Where at?
On the news. It was a couple of days. I was told that, two different stories. Oh, we took her home. We dropped her off, she's fine. And then, once they started getting high, then the story changed. And that's when we're like, what the fuck?
Joanna is incredibly animated. You can see her eyebrows moving a lot as she talks, which indicates that she's seeking approval from the officers, while also making very intense eye contact. As she talks, her speech sounds pressured, meaning she's talking without many pauses. This may be because she really wants to get her story out, but it's often associated with substance use and a variety of mental illnesses. It's also noteworthy that she says LJ and that girl. She doesn't say Annie's name, yet she's naming everyone else. When the officer starts asking questions, she seems to get a bit more anxious and is rubbing her head and ears. She also rubs her nose rather awkwardly. For all of her animation, her emotion doesn't seem to fit. She doesn't seem scared or worried.
And I go, what did you guys do? He goes, don't worry about it, Princess, it's fine. And so that's when I kind of started trying to pay attention. She was they walked that way. And that's when he said, how about my turn? And she laughed, and I was like, no. And he grabbed her and just flung her around into the wall. You know that where I was sitting today? There was that thing behind me. That wasn't there before. And she went right into that wall. And blood was everywhere, all over the place. Like, I remember, like, thinking really hard. Because pictures of the boys got broken. I had to get new frames for them. And we kind of scooted back, and the table kind of scuffed across the floor. And I was like, the scuff on there. And I remember being like, you know, something happened. Something happened. Because I was all worried about it, because I'm a mess. And we all kind of sat there for a minute while I finished being pissed. Like, and he kind of stood up and he goes, dude. He goes, what are you doing? He goes, I don't know. He goes, laugh at me, stupid bitch. And he kicked her, and I'm like, what are you doing? And he goes, you go start. And Ashley came in, and he goes, what the fuck happened? And he goes, your bitch laughed at me. He goes, she laughed at you? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, why'd she laugh at you? And he goes, I don't know. Why she laughed at me? And like, they just kind of stared for a minute. Ashley kind of went to his head, and he goes, I'm sorry. And I go, are you serious? And I stood up, and he goes, I'm like, and he was really concerned, so I sat down for a second, and I go, I need to go check on her. And he goes, no, you need to go get me some towels and a tarp out of the storage shed and shut your mouth. So I go get that. So I went and got that stuff, and I walked back in there, and he was sitting there, and he was just pale white. Totally white, not moving. And I was like, what's wrong? And she goes, I think she's dead. And I go, what? And I sat next to her, and I kind of moved her, and she went like that. I was like, she's okay, she's okay. And I kind of moved her chin a little bit, and like her jaw slid, like the way it shouldn't slide. And I was like, oh my God. So I just catch her up and put her on trying to fight, or whatever. And then I came out, and he goes, so what's the damage, doc? And I go, she needs to go to the hospital. And he goes, can't do that. And I go, to go to the hospital. And he goes, we can't do that. And I was like, what are you going to do? He's like, call. So he called on his phone. He went in the other room. He was quiet, and he started like shouting. He's like, you stupid, call them and tell them to get the fuck over here. You get your ass over here and bring me some change of clothes. And LJ just sat on the couch. He just sat there. Put her under the tarp. And they had him pull up.
Where was she at?
She was in the bathroom. We moved her from outside by the table to the bathroom to change her clothes. I wasn't okay, like, getting her undressed in front of her. I don't know why. Like, you're still at home? I don't know where else would I be. He's like, okay, I need to help you get some things cleaned up. And I'm like, Hannah, I can't do this. And he goes, yes, you can. You'll be fine. He's like, I'll make it worth your while. I'm like, no, you won't. I said, I can't do this. Like, I'm not like this. And he goes, this is exactly what you're like. He's like, and you'll help me with what I need. I'm like, he's like, so go over to Walmart or wherever if you need to go. When we open, and get some bleach. I'm like, I have bleach. He goes, you have enough of it? I go, yeah. And so I went back and got the bleach, and I came out with it. I'm like, can I do it? And he had me pour it all over the wall. And I scrubbed it. And then he had me do the baseboards, and then we all over the floor. And they went in the bathroom. He's like, you throw stuff away. And I go, those are my kids' stuff. And he goes, it's got blood on it. And I go, yeah, okay. And so we kind of took it all together, and we ended up throwing it in the dumpster. And that was on Sunday morning.
You said you redressed her, right?
Mm-hmm.
You redressed her. Where'd that clothing come from?
Brought it. That's where we bring it.
And what all was there?
There was like a red or a black top and some pants and some shoes.
Joanna's description of the clothes was strikingly similar to what Annie was wearing the day the investigators had discovered her body. She further informs the investigating team that the person she claims was involved and LJ took the girl's body in a Suburban and went to the canyons. On their return, they declared that the girl went swimming and won't come back. With Joanna's interview, the investigating team finally find their first witness who can describe LJ's physical looks. She shares that he's shorter than her, he's Hispanic but looks white, and he's 19 years old. Her information proves to be a comprehensive breakthrough, ticking all the necessary boxes and providing answers to the key inquiries the police had been tirelessly pursuing. With her eyewitness account of LJ's presence, they now had irrefutable confirmation of his involvement in Annie's murder. Moreover, the other man she was accusing and claimed to be involved, John, was a convicted felon, a self-admitted substance dealer, and a gang member. John's lengthy rap sheet further indicated his potential role in committing the dreadful crime. The investigators waste no time obtaining a search warrant for John's residence and promptly conduct a raid. As anticipated, his house exhibited clear signs of attempting to conceal a grievous offense. The walls were freshly painted, the carpet in the hallway was removed, and the entire place appeared to be undergoing remodeling. The absence of the carpet and red stains on the doors raised significant suspicion, indicating a potential cover-up. The visuals corroborated Joanna's statement. The police promptly arrest John to interrogate him. As Annie's family grapples with the confusing reality of her involvement with possible addicts and gangs, John goes through intensive questioning with the police.
We went and got your picture. How do you know her?
Brittany? Is her name Brittany?
No, it's Annie.
No, her name's
But you might know her as Brittany. Okay, tell me about Brittany.
Brittany. She's friends with Dude, did something happen to her?
Friends with who?
Dude, just tell me straight up, man.
I want to know what you have to say first.
And I'll think of everything you need to know, man, because she's hella cool, dude. That's Brittany. I'm pretty sure that's Brittany. She lives with Sal. But
Sal?
she stays with Sal. She's Mercedes' friend.
Mercedes' friend?
Yeah. And, dude, did something happen to her?
She ever been to your house?
Yeah, she just came to my house the other day. Did something happen to her?
On a scale of 0 being not at all and 100% positive that you know her as Brittany, where are you at on that?
8, dude. Pretty sure that's Brittany.
8 out of 10?
8 out of 10. Yeah. 8.
Or are you saying 80 out of 100?
Well,
Either way.
Either
Okay.
way, it's the same thing. I'm pretty sure it's her.
10 being 100% positive, you're 8 out of 10 that it's her.
Dude, I swear to God,
Okay, hold on.
her phone number just texted me today.
I'll answer your questions
They
in a
called
minute.
me.
I'll answer your questions in a minute, but you got a text from her and a call from her today, or a
Yeah,
phone.
yeah, it's on
When's the
my
last time you saw her?
That day.
That Saturday?
No, just like the day before I left, she came by my house.
So when was that?
And she's been staying at Sal's house downtown.
Who's Sal?
This dude named Sal, and Sal, I don't know Sal's real name. I just call him Sal.
Her boyfriend's supposedly LJ.
I don't even know who.
LJ or JL. You may know her as Brett. Her real name's Annie.
Okay. Who?
You didn't see her the other day.
No, dude, I don't even know who Annie is.
Tell me about this girl being at your house last
I
Saturday.
don't even know. I think she's Brit, dude.
Okay,
She was at my house last Saturday. There's no young girls at my house, man.
No?
No.
Ever?
As far as I know, if they're young, dude, I send them the out of there.
What if she looked older?
Well, that's just it, man. Did I do something? Am I supposedly did something to this person?
I have a concern. That's why we want to talk to you. I don't know
Well,
if you did or
if you
one
guys
other
think
person
I did something, I'm telling you right now, I didn't. And if you feel like I have, then I need a lawyer then. Because obviously, what I'm saying to you, you're telling me that I'm not being honest with you, whatever.
Do you need a lawyer or not, or should I continue?
Continue, dude, but I'm just telling you, I don't know. I think that's Brit.
But if you say you
She's at
think
my
you need a
house
lawyer,
last-
I have
she was
to
at my
address that
house
now.
just
I have to
the other
respect your
day.
rights.
Yeah, I mean, but if you guys
Are
think
we
that I
okay
did
talking or not?
If you guys think I did something to her, then hell yeah, I want a lawyer.
Okay. So do you want a
Because
lawyer or
I did not do nothing to nobody.
What if I told you she's dead?
I didn't do it. What the?
Exactly. Are we here to talk, or do you want a lawyer? Because you said the word lawyer twice. I need to know.
Well, then talk, man, but don't act like I know who this girl is. I'm telling you, it's Brit, dude. It looks just like Brit.
Okay.
And she did what the?
You don't remember
It's not.
telling
It can't
anybody
be
that
her
she
though.
went for
It
a
can't
swim?
be. It can't be her, dude, because she just was at my house.
No, she's been dead for a week.
Then she was never at my house. I had never seen this girl before then.
She's been dead for a week.
Did you tell anybody she went for a swim?
Who?
That girl.
No. And if somebody said I said that, they're liars, man. For real.
Let me ask you this. Did your wife get pissed here, it was probably just over a week ago, about some guy and girl having sex in your bed? Said it's,
No,
that you
no.
guys don't have a damn house?
No, hold on. Nobody had in my bed though.
Okay, but do you know about your wife getting pissed at you over one of your friends and some girl having sex in your bed?
She didn't get mad at me over that.
She didn't?
No.
Really?
Ain't nobody had in my bed but me and my wife.
Despite John's adamant denial of having any involvement in Annie's murder, or even any association with her, his prior criminal record provided enough justification for the police to keep him in custody as they gathered further evidence to support his potential involvement in the case. Yet when the DNA match reports and phone records arrive, the case takes an appalling turn that no one imagined. None of the blood samples found on the doors and walls of John's house match Annie's DNA. It was obvious that a crime occurred at John's residence, but there's no evidence indicating Annie's presence whatsoever. Moreover, John's phone records from that night don't place him even close to the area of Annie's death. This revelation leaves the investigators utterly bewildered and shocked, prompting them to reconsider their approach and conduct another interview with Joanna. In a twist beyond comprehension, Joanna breaks down under intense questioning and reveals her secret. It turns out that John hadn't been lying in interrogation. He actually didn't know Annie at all. However, John had betrayed Joanna by cutting her out of a deal. In a calculated act of vengeance, she meticulously gathered information on Annie's case from the news reports and constructed a story that pinned the blame on John. She confesses to orchestrating this elaborate plan to exact revenge and secure immunity for her crimes. It appeared John's alibi from the night of Annie's murder was actually another crime he was involved in. John and his ally ended up pleading guilty to kidnapping charges from that night. With the investigation into Annie's death derailed by a year because of the misleading information, the investigators are left with no choice but to retrace their steps and meticulously sift through their vast collection of past interrogations and searches they conducted before Joanna's pivotal call. Immersed in this intensive review, they stumble upon 3 tip calls that instantly pique their curiosity. The first tip was from someone who had been driving home the night Annie was killed and saw a male on a bike leaning over the south side barrier and looking into the river. He was leaning so far over that she thought he would fall in. Another tip came from someone else who had said that he saw at 2:30 p.m. that day by the Rotary Park, a young male was saying, "Won't get caught, won't get caught," waving his arms around. He was short, with dark hair almost to his ears, a full head of hair, and was wearing a gray shirt and blue shorts. And then there had been a third tip from Christopher Bagshaw, Annie's boyfriend, because he had been receiving threats from LJ. All 3 tip calls pointed towards a teenager being involved in Annie's murder. Although this once again reaffirmed that LJ appeared to be a strong suspect, the police still didn't have a physical description and had yet to find him. Determined to uncover crucial details, investigators focus on Annie's phone records to get evidence of her phone conversations and retrieve LJ's profile. The investigators' hunch proves correct when a disturbing pattern emerges, as they discover that Annie received multiple calls from a blocked number on the night of her murder. The individual behind this blocked number spoke with Annie until the fatal hour leading up to her death. It was believed that this mysterious caller could possibly be LJ. Drawing upon Chris and Spencer's testimonies regarding LJ's threats towards them, the investigators promptly contact the telephone department to establish a connection between LJ and the blocked number found in Annie's phone records. They request the extraction of call data from Chris and Spencer's phones to note if they ever received or answered calls from the same suspicious number. If the numbers match, it could provide crucial evidence to solidify their suspicions in the case. But when the data arrives, the brutal and disturbing details rattle the entire investigating team. It becomes evident that every person involved has been withholding crucial information and telling lies. The police now had to, once again, reach out to each individual they had interviewed 2 years ago. The detectives began their renewed round of interviews by arranging a meeting with Spencer Criddle and providing him with a search warrant report for his house. The report revealed the absence of any blood evidence within his house, despite his statement that he witnessed Annie's nosebleed while at home. Under intensified questioning, Spencer eventually admits that he never personally witnessed the incident, but believes it happened because Chris talked to him about it. The detectives then meet with Wilma Fern Bockley, Chris's grandmother, who becomes a key figure in the investigation. According to Chris and his family's account, he had supposedly spent the entire night of Annie's murder at his grandmother's home, starting from 7:45 p.m. However, the call records present a peculiar inconsistency that showed Wilma had called Chris multiple times, even well past midnight. However, she's uncooperative during the interrogation process and insists that Chris had returned to her house approximately 1 to 1.5 hours after leaving to meet his friend. She continues to parrot similar series of events that happened that night as Chris had told them. She recalls making only one phone call to him that night and has no recollection of any additional calls or the approximate timings. However, it would soon be uncovered that she was clearly withholding crucial information. Additionally, Darwin Leroy Bagshaw, Chris's father, had stated that he had seen his son dozing off on the couch at his mother's home around 11:30 p.m. However, the reliability of this claim is called into question by call records, which indicate that Chris had called his grandmother Wilma Bockley at 12:47 a.m. that night. Why would she call Chris if he was sleeping in her living room? It seemed Chris and his family were hiding something out of fear. Given that he'd been threatened in the past, police considered that perhaps LJ had threatened him again. As the investigators weighed on the details about the owner of the blocked number, they also asked the telephone departments to trace the precise locations of all the individuals involved. The resulting data from this search unveils a stunning revelation that turns the entire investigation on its head. As it turned out, Chris is the owner of the blocked number and had a different phone to use it. But if this was the case, and Chris had made those calls, where is LJ? Had they planned this elaborate lie together? Chris was the only one who could answer their questions. Investigators find out that he moved to Colorado for his sophomore year and swiftly leave for the state to interrogate him. Overwhelmed and apprehensive, Chris succumbs to the intense questioning and reveals shocking details that seem far too sinister for someone his age. Chris informs them that there is no LJ. As he narrates his tale of lies and deception, he confesses to the detectives that he discovered that Annie had created a fictional person named LJ to make him jealous. He had used the same name in Annie's story to divert their investigation. Spencer had been protecting him as a friend, unaware that Chris had committed the heinous crime that took Annie away forever. He had messaged Spencer saying, "The cops might come back to your house. I need you to tell them Annie got a bloody nose." Another said, "They took my shoes for my testing, and I need you to tell them that so I don't get blamed. I just want you to know I'm not telling you to lie to the cops. I just know you were kind of dozing off that night." Chris's admission of guilt put several missing pieces together. During their search, the police found that Chris's bike was similar to what the tip call witness had seen. Further investigation revealed that the other witness who had seen a teenager chanting over the bridge was the same day that Chris had actually skipped school. Police also found a note in the trash can of his home in which Chris had listed out a detailed timeline of Annie's disappearance and what she was wearing that night. There could only be one reason Chris would know of such details. He had been the one to kill her. Comments Chris posted on Facebook after Annie's death were viewed from a completely different perspective after the disturbing revelation. It turns out that the purpose of the posts wasn't to honor a beloved friend, but rather an effort to deflect any potential suspicion away from himself. The comments read as follows: "Everyone wear red tomorrow. It was her favorite color, and let's show how much we really care." And, "The world is filled with hate and no one understands the pain of losing someone they care about until it's too late and they're already gone. It's sad what had happened to Annie, and I don't know why anyone would do this to someone like her. She was awesome and we all loved her very much. Even though we had times where we disliked each other, we always made up and reevaluated our friendship. She was the best." But what gave him away was Veronica, Annie's mother's phone call. On the night Annie went missing, she'd called to ask if he knew anything. Chris had answered the call minutes after he'd taken her daughter's life. The location on Chris's cell phone on that call put him next to Annie near that bridge. While Annie's family had endured 2 long years of suffering, Chris had moved on and continued his life in Colorado as though nothing had occurred. The police arrest him on charges of first-degree murder and obstruction of justice. But why had he killed Annie? That sickening detail wouldn't be revealed until later. As Chris Bagshaw was 14 at the time of the crime, the state of Utah was likely to place him in a juvenile facility, allowing his release at 21. Given that he was 17 at the time of his arrest, it would result in him serving a mere 3 years in prison for the heinous offense. While investigators diligently sought evidence to support trying Chris as an adult in court, a pivotal moment arose when they received a call from the Juvenile Detention Center. The caller, an inmate, steps forward to provide information about Chris Bagshaw, significantly bolstering the prosecution's case. This particular inmate had developed a friendship with Chris, who, in his overconfidence, revealed the chilling details of Annie's murder. Back in school, Chris had found out that Annie had been telling people she was pregnant with his baby, and he'd believed the claim, even though this wasn't true. She asked him to run away with her, so he suggested they meet by the bridge. Annie snuck out that night to meet him near the Jordan River. However, Chris had planned something terrible. He attacked Annie with a shovel, hitting her face until it was disfigured. Then he put the shovel on her forehead, jumped on it, and continued until Annie stopped moving. The investigators took this information to a state medical expert who checked Annie's autopsy report and corroborated the inmate's description of the injuries on Annie's face, especially the one to her forehead. Chris had killed Annie because he believed she was pregnant with his child. Darwin Christopher Bagshaw was eventually tried as an adult and pleaded guilty to first-degree murder. He was sentenced to 15 years to life in prison and will be eligible for parole in 2034. A recording captured a message from Spencer to his friends, clearly said in jest no one had any idea that Chris may have been scheming his own murderous plans at this very moment.
You know, I never wanted to do this, but sometimes you just got a point. Shoot.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yo, man. So back off. Did you change it?
What the crap? I'm just late.